This is your End Time News Prophecy Update, where end time prophecy and current events come together. I'm your host, W. Dean Shook. The Prophecy News Update, we have got some hot ones for you today. We're going to start with this one from Representative Olson introduces articles of impeachment against Eric Holder. Well, a lot of people are saying it's about time for that. It turns out that Representative Pete Olson, a Republican from Texas, has introduced an article of impeachment resolution against Attorney General Eric Holder. He's doing this for his role in Operation Fast and Furious and other scandals of President Barack Obama's administration. The articles of impeachment have 4 different sections. The first calls for Holder's official removal because of his failure to comply with congressional subpoenas relating to Operation Fast and Furious. Now, Holder has been voted on a bipartisan basis into both criminal and civil contempt of Congress for his failure to comply with the Fast and Furious subpoenas from House committees on oversight and government reforms. The second section of the Articles of Impeachment deals with Holder's refusal to enforce the Defense of Marriage Act, DOMA, the Controlled Substance Act, the Anti-Drug Abuse Act of 1986, and the third section calls for Holder's impeachment on the grounds that he has refused to prosecute any IRS officials involved in the scandal of unauthorized disclosure of tax records belonging to political donors. The fourth section of this article of impeachment goes after Holder for his involvement in the targeting of reporters. Now, Holder testified under oath on May 15th, 2013, and the resolution states that he was neither involved nor had heard of a potential prosecution of the press. Well, 3 days later, though, Holder's Department of Justice released documents naming journalist James Rosen as a co-conspirator in an alleged violation of this Espionage Act. Holder later confirmed to Congress that he had in fact approved a search and warrant on James Rosen. My goodness. Next, we have something that we've all been worried about because we've heard about it, but here's the confirmation. DHS has a month to release the Internet kill switch plans. It seems a federal court ruled on Tuesday the Department of Homeland Security has 30 days to disclose its plan for an Internet kill switch. The Washington Free Beacon reports, in order to prevent terrorists from using cell phones to remotely detonate bombs, DHS has developed secret protocols called Standard Operating Procedure 303. It's to govern how the agency would direct the shutdown of wireless networks in the event of an emergency. With the Electronic Privacy Information Center has been battling the agency since July of 2012 to release the protocols. These protocols are considered the Internet kill switch to the public. On Tuesday, the U.S. District Court and the District of Columbia ordered DHS to disclose Standard Operating Procedure 303 within 30 days, rejecting the agency's argument that maintaining the secrecy of the protocol would protect national security. Well, here's something else that we've been worried about. And that's the new Obamacare health regulations tied to gun control. I'm just shocked about this one. Though President Obama said he was sorry that more than 4.2 million Americans had their health insurance policies canceled due to the signature health care law, it didn't stop him from instituting additional regulations and mandates for services in Obamacare, this time the mental health and substance abuse. So on last Friday, the Obama administration announced new rules that place mental health and substance abuse services on par with medical and surgical benefits. Now, the rules, which will apply to almost all forms of health insurance, will likely have far-reaching consequences, says the New York Times, as they are critical to Obama's program to preventing gun violence, i.e. his belief that more eligibility of mental health treatment will reduce gun violence. In issuing the new health insurance regulations, the administration said it will have acted on all 23 executive actions that Obama announced earlier this year to reduce gun crime following the shooting in Newtown, Connecticut, last December. Despite Obama's belief that if Americans were taxed enough to pay for mental health and substance abuse services, for all there would be less gun violence. Mental health experts have stated that such a law would not have prevented the Newtown shooting or other similar shootings. Well, in October, psychiatrist Michael Bostwick, MD of the Mayo Clinic, noted that the vast majority of people who perform mass shootings are not mentally ill, that the majority of mentally ill people are not dangerous, and that taking guns away from mentally ill will not eliminate mass shootings. Well, according to the Washington Times, HHS Secretary Kathleen Sebelius, standing alongside former First Lady Rosalind Carter, said in Atlanta that new rules were the end result of a generation-long effort to ensure that millions of Americans with behavioral problems get the same care as physically ill patients. But they didn't mention anything about gun control or how it would affect people who are considered mentally ill under these new rules to be able to buy a gun. Well, President Obama also has come up with a fix for his fairy tale that you can keep your plan if you like it. Earlier this week, former President Bill Clinton advised President Obama to honor the commitment he made and to allow Americans to keep their health care plans. That was a central promise Obama made when he sold Obamacare, but one that turned out to not be true when Obamacare began to be implemented last month. Here's what he said. So I personally believe, even if it takes a change in the law, the president should honor the commitment the federal government made to those people and let them keep what they've got. That according to former President Bill Clinton. Now President Obama is taking Clinton's advice and trying to honor that commitment. In remarks today at the White House, Obama said, I completely get how upsetting this can be. Lose insurance plans that I promised Americans would be able to keep. To those Americans, I hear you loud and clear. But there's a catch with President's proposed solution. The President's not proposing that the law be changed to allow all health insurance plans grandfathered into Obama's care eligibility requirements. No. Instead, the White House is saying that it will use enforcement discretion to allow illegal health insurance plans to still be able to be sold. That is, the Obama administration will not enforce the penalty on individuals for not having eligible health insurance plans, and they'll allow the insurance companies to still sell so-called bad plans. Plans they technically can't sell under Obamacare, which is a law. Now, under the White House approach, the Department of Health and Human Services will notify the nation's state insurance commission that they have federal permission to allow consumers who already have such plans and insurance policies to keep them through 2014, according to the Washington Post. He'll also be forcing insurance companies to help advertise for Obamacare by letting customers know that there's an Obamacare marketplace where they can purchase or get a subsidized health care coverage. Isn't that wonderful? Well, we've talked about the mark of the beast many times before. Mark of the beast is going to be either a mark in the hand and the forehead, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. We've talked about biometrics fitting the bill in a very unique way. Well, here's a new story. Biometrics means a world without passwords. You may never need to memorize another password. That's the goal of researchers at Purdue University International Center for Biometric Research. Stephen Elliott is the Director of International Biometric Research at Purdue University in Indiana. He says iris and fingerprint scans, as well as facial and voice recognition, are just a few of the tools to improve security while making life easier. Let's hear it from him himself.
Employees at this KFC in West Lafayette, Indiana, no longer need a password to sign into their cash registers.
They come in and they put their finger on a fingerprint mechanism, and it just automatically clocks them in.
Biometrics, once considered a far-fetched technology, is becoming an everyday reality. From signing onto your phone, accessing your bank account, to entering a secured room, your unique features are the key to unlocking anything worth safeguarding.
We want to protect our privacy and also be able to make sure that we don't have fraudulent transactions. We'll see the use of biometrics in that area as well.
Biometric researchers at Purdue University say human traits such as your iris, fingerprint, face, and voice provide that extra level of security beyond numbers and letters.
I think the average person would tell you they have too many passwords and it's a hassle to change them all the time, and therefore they use the same passwords for lots of things, which inherently makes that more easier to break.
For employers, using biometrics can better protect employees.
It keeps others from, trying to get into their registers or log in or clock themselves in or out by using someone else's number.
As well as protect the company's bottom line and your own personal assets. Noel Wagner, The Associated Press.
You'll find these stories and more at our website. That's wdeanshook.com. That's wdeanshook.com.